everyone, I'm Farmer Steph and we're here at the Farm to Table Kids Greenhouse in North Yarmouth, Maine. And as you can see, we've switched over from cucumber and tomato season to holiday season. So we have some balsam, cedar, pine, holly, and winterberry we'll be working with today because we're going to show you how to make holiday wreaths. So I have with me my daughter Autumn, and she loves crafting with me. And today we're going to make a holiday wreath, and we're going to show you how to do it so you can make one with your little farm kit at home. So Autumn, to get started, let's show everybody the materials and the tools that we're using. So right now we have a crimped wreath ring. This is a 12-inch ring. You can usually get these from any garden or nursery. We got these ones from Skillins, our local nursery. The other thing you need is some wire. This is a paddle wire. It's called a paddle wire because it fits in your hand like a paddle, which is really good because when you're making wreaths you have to pull on it. So that's paddle wire. And then you need some kind of snips and wire cutter to be able to cut through thick branches. And then you just need whatever you're going to be working with. So here we have everything here is local and harvested off of the farm. So we've got some balsam, cedar, some pine, beautiful holly, which is great to work with because of the variegated leaves, and then some winterberry. So to start with a ring, the very first thing you need to do is attach your wire. So take about 2 inches of this wire and just wrap it around the wreath, just like this, just so it gets like a nice solid foundation. Just wrap it. Go ahead. And then while Autumn is wrapping that, the other thing that you're going to do once that is done is you're going to start making hand bouquets. And you can essentially think about filling your wreath by making 10 or 12 hand bouquets that will be wrapped onto the wire. So then Autumn is going to go through, and if you wanted to just make just a balsam wreath, you can do that. If you wanted to just make a holly and winterberry wreath, you can do that. You can make wreaths out of anything, but we like things to look rustic and kind of full, so we're going to use a little bit of everything. So Autumn, when you start with a big balsam base, sometimes you get big branches. What do you do with a branch like this?
You'd cut it in half and then put them behind and in front of each other.
Yes, and why do you put this one in the back?
Because it looks kind of weird.
Because it has a cut,
yeah,
right?
It has a cut.
And you just cover it up with the tip. So that's a beautiful hand bouquet because it's really wide and it also has nice height to it. You wouldn't want to go any taller than that because then your wreath would look very bushy. And this is an awesome job to do with your kids because it gives them freedom to use real tools. Like Autumn's using my sharpest snips right now. And it's nice to be able to like give them that kind of freedom to be able to use real tools to make a real adult craft because they're able to do it. And then you're going to add some pine. All right. Pine. And the holly's like one big branch. I like to keep the holly tall so you can see it as you start to stack. Okay, so that's a beautiful hand bouquet size. As you can see, she took one big branch of the balsam, cut it in half, did one thing of cedar, one thing of pine, and one sprig of holly. Now she's going to attach it to her wreath. And this is the part that's the most important. This is where all the work goes in. And this will pretty much tell you if your wreath is going to be skinny or fat as you go. So she's putting it on horizontal, and she's going to wrap that paddle wire 5 times. And as you go, you're pulling really tight, right? So that paddle wire is built to pull towards you. Pull it towards you, and then see how it's nice and tight like that, and then back, just like you were doing. Pull it towards you, and then back. Yep. And you want to be able to get at least 2 inches of the stem. So you're going to wire all the way from up here all the way to the base. Like you want to pull tight so these stems are basically touching the wire. Good. And work it all the way to the very end so that when you're ready to attach the next hand bouquet, it's going to easily fit onto it. Perfect! So then you're going to make another hand bouquet. Good, and as you go, you can adjust the greenery to be wherever you want it to go. So we can fix all that at the end. And now you're going to make another hand bouquet. That's good to go. Good job. And these pieces are nice and wide, so your bouquet will end up being, your wreath will end up being really nice and a chunky one. There you go. You can use your snips. And it smells so nice. Doesn't it get you in the holiday spirit?
It smells like Christmas.
It smells like Christmas. And something like this that's big and chunky will just go like that and take a sprig of it.
I think we need a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's what's so fun about making wreaths with people too, is that they're like snowflakes. They come out totally different every single time. I have wreath workshops on the weekend, and we have so many different ingredients for people to choose from. And so all the wreaths look so different. It's fun to watch. So here, I just want to move this so you can see. Autumn is going to put, this is like really important. Autumn's going to put the next hand bouquet halfway up the one that she already did. If you put it too far down, it's going to be a really skimpy, skinny kind of wreath, and we want it to be nice and fat. So we're going to put it halfway on top of the previous hand bouquet. And that's how you make sure it's a nice full bouquet. A nice full wreath. You can double back the wreaths, but when I'm making wreaths with kids, I want it to be a positive experience and for it to be super encouraging. So we're gonna start wrapping that one. Got it? Yeah, you got it. And to do it like this, it'll still be very full. It'll have the fullness of a double-backed bouquet because we're using really thick hand bouquet, or double-backed wreath, because we're using thick bunches.
So I was working and I kept on adding little hand bouquets going this way until I reached to the end. And I just kind of played with it a little bit. But at the end, since all you do is you give one last loop around your last hand bouquet and then cut the wire and kind of like put the end of the wire into your wreath so it doesn't scratch your windows or anything. And so
you can go ahead and cut it.
There. And so I'm gonna add. You can use floral picks at your local nursery, and you can add winterberry or pine cones or really anything that you think would go well with it. And with pine cones, it's kind of hard to do. So just grab the end and wrap it around at the end of the pine cone. Like that with the wire. And then you can pluck it in wherever you want. Just kind of feel your pine cone going, or whatever you're using, going into the wire. Yeah.
Want me to wire some things for you?
Sure. So with the winterberry, it's a little bit harder just because it's a stick and it's not something that you can find folds to wrap around, but just really tightly wrap around that edge. And then pluck it anywhere. I'm going to snip it a little bit actually, just because the big stick of it. You can use a ribbon or not. I chose to use a ribbon, and you'll take the wire and wrap it around your ribbon. Really tightly.
Do you have any recommendations or tips for kids that want to make it at home?
Well, I'd suggest when you're putting the hand bouquets on top of each other, I'd suggest putting it higher than you think it would go, because if you put, you'll see once you put it lower, like you can see this, and so I'd say you can see the wire and the stems, and that will make it look pretty. And so I actually had to add a couple of hand bouquets after I did this with the new paddle lift string because I could see the wires. And so I just suggest putting it higher than you think it should be. Putting your hand bouquets higher than you think it should be on top of the other ones.
Awesome.
I had a blast doing this.